In a quiet corner of the city there lived an old cat named Mun, perched on the rooftop of an old, dusty bookstore. Every morning Mun would bask in the sun, watching the people pass by below. He was no longer quick like in his youth. His fur had lost its shine, and a part of his tail was missing from a long-ago battle with a gang of rats, but Mun didn't care much. He had grown used to his solitary life, the smell of old paper, the sound of pages turning, and the deep, warm voice of the bookstore owner, a man just as old as he was. They lived together in a slow rhythm, day by day, until one morning Mun was dozing off on the tiled roof when he heard a sharp, high-pitched meow from across the street. He lifted his head. Opposite the bookstore, a brand-new pet store had just opened. Inside a large glass window sat a pristine white Persian cat, lounging on a fluffy cushion, surrounded by toys and curious onlookers. Mun stared at the cat behind the glass. Bright blue eyes, snow-white fur, a sparkling silver bell around her neck. People stopped to point and marvel. So beautiful! What a fancy cat! I wish I had a cat like that. Suddenly Mun felt outdated. He looked down at his dusty fur, his stubby tail, and his heart sank a little. That evening, Mun didn't come down to the bookstore counter as he usually did. He stayed curled up in a corner of the roof, watching the glow of lights from across the street reflecting on the glass window. A question echoed in his mind. Why am I not loved like she is? If only I were younger, more beautiful, maybe life would have been different. The next day, Mun tried to clean himself, carefully licking every spot of fur. He even tried meowing sweetly, just like the Persian cat had when people passed by. But no one paid him any attention. Across the street, the white cat still sat proudly, receiving dozens of gentle strokes each day. Mun began to feel jealous. And jealousy, as we know, always leads to sorrow. One night, when the streets were quiet, Mun did something he had never considered before. He crossed the street. He leapt from rooftop to fence, crept across the small road, and slipped through a back vent left slightly ajar for airflow. The glass reflected the soft green light inside. Mun tiptoed in. And then he saw her, the Persian cat, curled up in a different glass cage. Not the display during the day with toys and lighting that no one was there. No cushion. No admiring guests. Just a cat curled tight, eyes open wide in the dark. She wasn't asleep. She was just still. Mun whispered, "Hey!" The white cat flinched, startled. Who's there?" "It's me. I live across the street." On the bookstore roof, the Persian cat sat up, her eyes showing a flicker of curiosity. "What are you doing here?" Mun hesitated. "I saw how people adored you. I thought you must be really happy." She was silent for a long time. Then she gave a faint smile. "Happy? Maybe, if being happy means being locked in a glass cage all day, not allowed to move freely, not allowed to groom myself, never touching real ground. But they love you?" Mun said, puzzled. "They love what I look like. When I meow from exhaustion, they think it's cute. When I hide in corners, they call me charming. I can't be myself. I'm just a decoration. Do you understand?" Mun fell silent. The Persian cat spoke again. "Do you know what it feels like to sleep on a warm rooftop? To run at night, quietly, freely? To choose where you rest, who you sit beside?" Mun softly replied, "I do," she sighed. "Then you have something I've dreamed of my whole life. Don't give it up just to stand behind the glass." Mun left the pet store at dawn while the sky was still dim. On the way back, he passed street sweepers, a little shoeshine boy, and an old homeless man curled up against a wall. No one noticed him. But this time Mun didn't feel small. Time passed. The pet store grew quieter. Visitors came and went. The Persian cat stayed day after day. Then one day, Mun no longer saw her in the window. Someone said she'd been sold. Mun didn't know if that was good or bad. The old bookstore owner still read every evening. Mun lay once again on the window ledge, listening to the slow, gentle words. Now and then, some children would pass by and wave. "Look, it's Uncle Mun. Hey Mun, come here." Mun had no silver bell, no snow-white fur. But he had freedom, he had his rooftop, he had the voice of an old man reading books, the wind whispering through pages, and he had himself. He lifted his head toward the sunset shining through the tiles, and smiled. Story message: don't compare yourself to what you see through someone else's glass wall. Behind the dazzling lights, there may be cages no one notices. Happiness isn't about how much we're admired, but about how freely we can be ourselves.